Hey everyone, and welcome back to another reactions episode with your homeboys. It's the Project WEBTOON's cast coming live one more time with the season finale of Noblesse. Of course, I'm as always your big host. It is Sleepy, and down below me,
what's going on, y'all? It's your boy Seraph here.
He's back.
I wasn't here last week. I had to go on a trip.
It was fine.
See family.
You get some fam. You got him. And certainly, last but not least, it's our big fishy man over there.
And this is Dr. Goon.
Hey, full crew, full time. Fishy.
Reptilian?
Reptilian.
Yes?
I don't know. What do we want to try and classify him right now? We want to go through
reptilian for sure.
He may live under the ocean. We don't know.
Yeah, there's some reptiles that live under the ocean.
There are.
Do you really think I would live under the water? Like,
yes,
that sounds...
yes, I do. I really do. With how you act sometimes, I feel
we're gonna have to get a filter for our man with some water.
I feel like as the punishment, you'd have to live underwater just because I know you don't like fish. Definitely getting back into it. The final out of the gate here, and this is the closeout also for the entire run of all of the at least announced and put out webtoons adaptations that we've had so far. We'll probably definitely do a nice retrospective of the whole series afterwards in a ramblings at some point. But Seraph, since you weren't here last week, we wanted to get your words at least on the last episode. Thoughts and feelings. How'd you like it? No, a full battle, full battle episode again.
It was just all fighting pretty much since the beginning.
I did not think it was full battle.
It was mostly battle episode, I would say.
Like at least 70% of it was battle.
Yeah.
And then after that, we just got more dialogue points for the Council of the Six.
The council all having this discussion while they're basically battling out.
And then my favorite part was the ending bit where Rai walks in and he's like, oh, wrong room.
Yeah, I liked that. I might
Don't
use
worry.
that bit for something
Sleepy
else.
died at that too.
I'm sorry, it was just good. Well, either way, it's good to see we got a full range there, and I'm glad that at least you also enjoyed that bit that like I did. But let's not keep everyone waiting here with this. Let's go ahead and just jump into our final episode so we can do some discussion. There it is.
Man, I thought he was about to run in because they.
I was wondering if someone was gonna run in or say something out loud about it.
Yeah, but they zoomed in on his feet, and I thought he was gonna go full sprint at her.
Okay, and the clear shock of, what? How can you stop my power? I clearly don't know what you are. A very light toss back.
He was being nice.
See, look, they know he's Noblesse.
But they clearly
trust this gangster.
All right. But they clearly challenged the power anyway. Like, oh, I can take this on.
When you see a god just wipe another god off the face of the earth, and you're a mortal, you're like, I'm about to fight that guy.
I get it. They haven't watched Ghostbusters. What do we do when we see a god, Seraph?
We fight that guy. He's like, I invented this.
I can do the thing she can do, but better.
You would think that she should have known this already, right? Like, it should be part of her studies. Oh, hey, this is what the Noblesse is,
This is what
right?
the Noblesse
does.
So this is what our god is. Bro, he's got Ragnarok on his hands, dog.
Well, so does she. Oh, he's carrying him at least.
兄ちゃん城で何かってマスターなんだ
He doesn't even need the sword.
Yo, wait, did we just explain the fact that, like... Oh, he's greater than our Lord.
Yeah, he's greater than the Lord. Even the Lord of Lords.
られるのよ。私を苦しめてきた憎き男。
I feel like the only thing that can end this is him just going, I don't know what you're talking about, bro. I've been asleep for about 900 years.
I'm kind of hoping he just takes the sword and breaks it in front of her. Like, this is dumb.
そなたも私と同じ力を持っているはず。何故本気を出さない。
いいわ。見せてあげる。食らいなさい。ブラッドフィールド。ブラッドフィールドが。
Now you realize.
今も昔も。
お立ちください。あなたの中に灯る炎は。
我々のロードは無本人に屈するような強さを知っています。
あなたたち。
See, this part I don't like. It's like, oh hey, you should care about these characters because the sad music in the background. But I'm like, but they've been assholes the entire time.
And what have they done?
Well, they haven't
They've
done
been
anything.
assholes the entire time. Why should I care?
You guys have basically been playing house for 800 years.
Pretty much. Bro, he just dodged your attack in midair, bro. That's a sign. That's a sign.
Alright, now he's actually not playing a little. Oh, everyone gets a slap but him.
に与えられし力を彼女が正しく使いこなさぬ限り。終わりだ。
A whole lesson.
So much crimson.
Hurry up and get to the exposition already. Come on. Just get to the exposition so that now we can at least pretend we care.
Ryan's over here being a teacher, man. You know.
随分と。
できている。
兄ちゃん、まさかラグナロクがもう一本。
Ark, is this how they create these sort of omens?
Man, I wish that was that easy.
I am so confused.
You're not the only one.
They didn't explain or like
Soul
talk about the soul weapons. So yeah.
Like there was no exposition of the soul weapons, like at all. Like we knew that they're soul weapons, but what do they do?
What is their purpose? Why are they special? Oh, he's gonna explain it right now. I'm not sure.
一族を統率するゆえに不変だ。比べて人間たちはどうか。短い命を全うする姿は。
Like I said, prepare for exposition and some stuff that should have been explained long ago.
しかし、時に貪欲であり、美しい。私は信頼する古参の家主たちに計画を打ち明けた。新しい世代にルケドニアの未来を託すため、自ら眠りにつきたいと。何人かの見届けよと命じた。
See, he knew from the beginning. He knew from the fucking beginning.
He could have totally avoided all this.
He could have avoided the whole thing.
The whole time.
べきラスクレア様のお心も激しく乱れていた。そんな若きロードに付け入ろうとする者が心ない噂を吹聴し、いつの間にかライジェル様が罪人とされてしまった。家主たちはその思いに同調することで。
It was the old man's fault the entire time.
I allowed a lie to happen because it would save the future.
私は口を継ぐんだ。それがルケドニアのためであると。
Ark, it was a noble lie.
No, it wasn't. You know it wasn't. It was the stupidest thing ever. It's like letting a child know that the lie was like the entire time, and then like, oh wait, I'm gonna find out the truth anyways.
Still on that punishment. What the? All right, I mean that's one way to break up the tension. I went to sleep.
Explain it to us. We're never gonna hear it again. Explain it to us.
No one cares. There's so much missing. No one cares.
What you mean you'll never kill him? He was about to.
You were so angry about it.
Oh well, there goes my homeboy soul weapon. Going like that.
お前に泣かれたら、ラスクレア、元気で。
Because he had a very good reason. Like, okay. The problem here is that, like, they still have the 2 Ragnaroks.
But now they have 1.
But they haven't touched upon why it was important
To have
there
2.
were 2 of them.
So like, did this dude just give up his soul to become a weapon?
I don't know. Maybe yes.
Do you want me to tell you?
I feel like we're gonna have
At
to
this
make
point, yeah.
I feel like we're.
Tell us after.
Yeah, we're probably gonna have to make a spoiler section for this.
Because I am confused.
よろしかったのですか？ああ。もしかするとこの先、ルケドニアにノブレスの力は必要なくなるのかもしれませんか。
It's like if we didn't have an opening this episode, we could
have just ended with this kind of, yeah.
The what soul weapons were, or the reason why there needed to be 2 in the first place, or like. Oh my gosh. Maybe there was like an entire story arc that we missed out on, like where they played that soul weapons are made out of souls.
It's just like the OVA. We're just missing entire bits of context, and we just need to go watch that real quick.
Maybe we're missing the fact that the reason why the 2 Kestia brothers, the 2 assassin brothers, they also have dual soul weapons is because their father learned how to split the soul weapon into 2, in which he was working with the Lord to split the soul weapon into fucking 2. That's what that was. The whole illusion was there for, but no one knows what soul weapons are the entire time. Like, I was like, are we ever going to talk about this? I feel like we should talk about this. This seems like it's really important, right? No? Okay.
So we're back after the finale episode, and as anyone can tell, Ark has lots of things to bring up. Very specifically, some missing context. Yeah, so... Well, like you were saying, we were going to get some exposition, and we did. We just got the final exposition of this is exactly what Gestiel knew the entire time.
Yeah,
and why he let this kind of occur. Why he let this all occur.
Could have prevented all of it.
Oh, I knew it was a terrible rumor, but I just let it happen anyways. And you're like,
why?
What?
Well, I noticed they were all super depressed, and I couldn't find a way to get them to join. But this rumor came up and they all started joining, so I just let it happen because it brought
Maybe I
them
should have just
together.
told her that, hey, your dad wanted to go to sleep. What? Yeah, your dad was just like, hey, I've lived for so long now, I'm done. And he needs you to understand he was done, that's all. Like, how hard is that? Like,
And he
I mean,
wanted
you make it
to
seem like
prosper with the clan.
you make it seem like a much darker version of it. Dark. Like, I'm just sick and tired of this shit. I'm just out.
No, that's what that was though. He was just like, yeah, like we live like basically we're
he's
immortals.
like we're kind of immortal, but you know, like we don't change if nothing new comes along. So we're gonna kind of force change by
yeah, I want to shake things up. Why? How? I'm just gonna die. Like
I'm gonna die. You
I've
take
been immortal
over
for
and
a
have
long
to do
time.
entirely all this on your own.
It's like when the old generation tells you, you know what? You can change it after I die. And I'm like, man, you know how long I have to wait for that? This was like a father who was like, yeah, I'm ready. They can change it. I can die right now. Okay.
Yeah, I was up with you on that one, Seraph, when they said we semi-permanently live forever. Semi-permanently? What does that mean? Is there like an actual point you'll die if you don't choose to do it early? Like
no, they just choose to die. The time comes that they're supposed to just choose when they're done because they're like, oh hey, we've lived long enough, we're done.
Between the reveal of Gastil's information, between the swords becoming the two swords coming out, and us still not getting any explanation exactly about the soul weapons.
Still as confused as ever.
I mean, I take it with this, we're not going to get any more explanation on that. Not even to the fact of the two weapons between the brothers, the assassin's brothers, either.
See,
I mean, granted, because they were so regulated to a background as well.
Another reason why they have to explain what soul weapons are is because it's very integral to who?
Frankenstein.
Yeah, right? How come everyone's like, oh man, that seems like it's a soul weapon, but it's not a soul weapon.
It's not a soul weapon.
It's not a soul weapon though. Why does it, like, it feels wrong? And I was like, yeah, there's a reason why though. Like, the hints are supposed to be there because they eventually explain what a soul weapon is. You're like, oh, okay, I know what a soul weapon is. A soul weapon is when a clan leader passes their soul on to the next clan leader. So like they have a weapon. Cool.
Yes. Now that only makes me wonder if the soul weapon stays the same between leader to leader to leader, or if it's unique entirely. Like,
I think
I'm past my soul, so therefore you get my soul weapon, or you get what the version is of
no,
that I would think it would be.
If you saw, like, there were the two Ragnaroks look different, and
they did.
The two Kettia brothers,
their weapons look different. But I just figured that's just,
yeah,
you know, aesthetically because whatever.
I would from what I remember reading, there is like a generational difference, but I don't think the purpose of the weapons remain the same. So like the Kettia brothers, they are still assassin weapons. They're just slightly different looking. Yeah. That's all it is.
So I mean, and I can already see a lot of the comments coming from this. Like, it's okay, they'll explain all this in the next season. They don't need it right now, but it's like,
they needed it.
Super important right now. This seems like some of this is very important at this moment. Like, it explains a lot of the importance of these items, these things that we would get into even in the later seasons. Like, this seems like something you would want us to have knowledge of without like having to go, you know, a whole another season or a couple seasons and then get into it, because then we get to Frankenstein's story and that's when it all becomes like, oh yeah.
Also the problem here is when Veggie.T.O.O.N says that, oh, someone was spreading rumors, he knows who was spreading rumors.
Yeah, does he know exactly who?
He knows who the traitors are. He knows who the actual traitors are. But he's just like, yeah, I'm just not going to talk about them at all because I know who the real culprits are.
Are they still alive though? Are they still around? Alive? We don't know. They don't really bring it up. Like, no one's spewing the rhetoric of the traitors other than the Lord. Her. She's the only one that continuously brings it up. Like, he's the villain. He's the traitor. He's the one that is responsible. I'm like, you don't see like any of the minions bringing it up. Like, that evil bastard or something. Like, no one else is spreading the rhetoric. So I don't know if, you know, those traitors are still in existence. I'm guessing in the webtoon they either are or he took care of them before it kind of got to this point.
No, you know who in the webtoon you eventually find out that you know where the traitors are. There's something that no, there's something that's in the background that they just kind of left out the entire time that seems like it's really important to talk about.
That it hints at.
Who are we not talking about? No, what are we not discussing?
I was gonna say, who are we not talking about? What are we not discussing right now, Seraph? Any thoughts on what we're not discussing? Yeah.
No.
Smiles and looks.
I'm just gonna let you guys continue on.
It's not the Union, is it?
Oh look! Look, Sleepy gets it. Yes. Right? It seems like there's something really important that like we should have talked about. That's like seems like it's kind of important to talk about. We just never ever go back to it.
I mean,
they've been there once and one and done, baby.
Yep. I mean, they took care of that problem. It's all good. It'll never show up again.
It's not like we have like 3 characters that like their entire background involves this, that like it's integral to their character growth, and also we need to go back to this because, you know, maybe the Union's the big bad guy or something like that. I don't know what you're talking about.
I mean,
who knows?
I'm still disappointed that we didn't do anything more with our humans. I'm also disappointed that we brought up the whole thing of the other form for 21 and then that didn't go anywhere.
Never brought it back up.
Never brought that back up.
That's why it's just weird that we skipped an entire story arc that does touch that. That I was like, all right, I don't get why we talk about these things here, but not utilize it in this part of this adaptation.
See, I have this suspicion that they bring all of these things up or they point them out because they want to bring them up in other seasons. They're just moving all the arcs around. That's what my thought is that's why they bring them up. But
the problem is that they're not adapting it well enough where it's like, okay, if it's fine if you like make a glancing mention or like stuff, sure.
Yeah.
That's why, all right. But like, if you want to use Chekhov's gun, but you can't make it like an actual deliberate point where like, this is a point discussion, but we're never going to talk about it.
Yeah.
And I was like, don't do the DCAU thing, all right? Where they're like, where we deliberately point it out so that you know we're gonna have a sequel. Okay, don't do that. Okay, if you properly write the story, all right. That's all you gotta do. That's
I like how you said properly write the story, as if everyone knows the exact formula for that. Write this properly. Well, I mean, they added so many random Chekhov's guns that they don't come back to. And that's what makes me think that they're gonna do this whole other season and they're moving all this stuff around because of what's happened in the other webtoons, minus Tower of God. Well, we can already see that there's very weak levels of character growth for most of the villains overall. I mean, you brought up the fact that the Union was supposed to all be set up. We're supposed to see this one person that's the main whole linchpin to all of this, and that person didn't appear. So there's no character growth to any of them once they get out there, outside of what we see in between them and living in the school. And then once that situation gets resolved, we move over now to all of the nobles and that, and we only get most of that time we're spent either, you know, with one noble showing up and doing something weird, and then very small flashback, very small tidbits of Reska there, and that's it. So, you know, we just know that she's angry at Rai. We don't know why. Then we're told then we're told the truth, and then now she's not, and we're like, so what growth was there really?
Yes, that's the problem here, where it's like, no, there's a reason why in the webtoons, like, she's like, nah, I don't want to have the two swords become one, because there's a reason why Dad left it as 2 for a reason. And then there's character growth behind that later on, where she realizes, oh, this is the reason why. And then you're like, oh, okay, cool. This is a good thing. This is actual character growth for this character who rarely shows up, okay?
I think so far everything that they've focused their character growth on the wrong people. They focused it on certain individuals and then completely removed those individuals or put them in the background as we got towards the end, which is kind of like
my homeboy, the redhead.
Yeah, I mean, they got sidetracked and left behind. The Union was kind of a main point for the first 5 to 6 episodes, and then that got resolved, and then they dropped that whole bit. and then it turned into, you know, the story of Rai and the nobles, but they didn't show us or really give us any info about the nobles. And you know, we just get more on Rai, but Rai's character is so minimal. It's like he's just a driving force that we just follow along to learn everything else in the world, but you forgot to tell us about the world. So yeah.
It's so problematic. Let's give it a score right now. I'm giving this episode 8.
Yeah, and this is very much
4.
This very much falls into that idea I have of like them wanting to create more seasons out of this, and this is where they're just giving us all these Chekhov's guns of this is brought up. We're not going to talk about it now, but we're going to talk about it in these other seasons because we're just going to move everything around, and that's how they I feel like that's how they think that's how that's going to work out. But I don't know, especially with the end. There was like literally nothing at the end.
Okay, then you worry about the second season. That's how this works. Okay,
but also notice
it's supposed to work.
But also notice with the end, there was nothing. There was no stinger. There was nothing leading off like, oh, there's gonna be more, or what's the next story. So that also even makes me.
They just like ended it like it would be a finale of an entire series.
Yeah, like honestly, we should just move episode 13 and replace it with that other episode and just move those in shifting spots. And then just have that last episode, that would fix it.
Episodes 1 to 13 be a proper first season.
There you go, and then you will have that episode 7 or 8 take place of 13, and you'll be like, oh look, this is where it ends, and there's clearly going to be more. All right, everyone walks off happy. I say we get
down. Followed it pretty well, you know.
I mean,
and they could have had at least 2 to 3 seasons.
I don't know. I don't know at the end of the day.
Also, the problem
every single webtoon adaptation so far.
Noblesse is a finished webtoon.
It is a finished webtoon.
They had so much to work with then.
Yeah, so I don't understand either how they're or why they're chopping it up the way they are, or why they're doing it the way they are, because it's you have a complete piece of work. It is there for you. Okay,
the first
it is done for you.
All you gotta do is just take it from there, and put it in here.
Yeah. Maybe we could. Maybe if we get big enough, we can get an interview with some people and have them sit down. So, can you explain to me how this frame worked out to this exactly?
Explain how this whole anime goes with this.
Here's 100 chapters. How did you completely remove 70 of those chapters to get to where we are? I want to know the logistics of it.
We need answers, Crunchyroll.
Logistics where you're like, hey, let's just skip an entire 50 chapters worth of what happened, right? And then start here without this entire story arc to explain anything that happened, and then get to this part where we finish this story arc where we build up these characters, but then never ever continue their character growth in the next story arc, and just skip that story arc that explains everything that's going to happen in the next story arc. And then I was like, who was behind the adaptation of this? Who literally was directing this? Was this is exactly what I want. And I was like, what?
I could go behind that with Tower God. I could get behind that with Got a High School. I am very scared. Sweet Home is great. Okay, I'm very scared for the future adaptations of WEBTOON.
Are we gonna all watch you and be like, you know what, this is fine, this is good? You're the one thing that completely didn't do an anime adaptation, it's nope,
they did a whole live action,
and they worked out perfectly.
Better so far. It's been better than the fucking anime adaptations.
And Hardcore Leveling Warrior is on a list. So
it's being done by Mappa. Mappa, you guys better do good for this one, please.
You guys got.
I'm not trying to be mad.
All right, so let's go ahead and we'll give our final thoughts and scores here for all of this. Seraph, I'm going to start down with you for this one. What do you give?
6.
6 for this final episode, and how about overall for the series?
Probably a 7.
Probably a 7. All right, I can get behind those. Arik, how about you?
This episode's a 4. I already said it's a 4.
Oh, I didn't hear you say 4.
This series is a 6.
I would agree to 6 as well.
That's higher. I thought it was
moments where it had moments where it was it was good. It had moments where it was like doing well. Where I was like, okay, I could watch the OVA and ignore the fact that we skipped that. Fine, I can excuse that because I was willing to excuse it because I was like, this is doing pretty well. And then we got to this part where I was like, why are we falling apart here? You were doing so well running towards the finish line, and you just tripped along the way. And I was like,
now is not a
what is going on?
You have failed us.
Now is not a good time to be doing a juice cleanse. You don't do it in the middle of the run. I would give this one definitely, I think, a 5 for me for this episode, just because all of this end and then just explanation that I feel like could have been done in a much better way. And then overall for the series, I'd say maybe a 6.5, maybe a 7, close to. There were definitely episodes I was like, yeah, this is good, this is fine, this is succinct.
Yeah, there was some
follows
episodes
along.
that were really nice, but then there was other episodes I was like, why?
Yeah, definitely the random in-between episode we had where, you know, it was like,
episode?
yeah, the basketball episode, they were like, okay, we're doing a filler, and then the next one I was like,
What do you know
why
about this more than most other episodes?
What's
See,
up?
No. See, that's the problem with that filler episode. That filler episode, the whole point of that scene there was to make it so that, oh, hey, look, Sarah has a thing for the redhead kid. Okay, cool. So then when we get to the point where like,
also, this is how we get rid of the redhead kid.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh, hey, look, these guys. You know what the problem here is? Like, even when I was reading the webtoon, I was like, so at what point was like, what was the purpose of them forgetting things? Because I'm gonna tell you this, they're gonna get involved again.
They're gonna get involved, yeah.
They're gonna get dragged again and again. I was like, I feel like it is ineffective that they don't remember things. Okay, like,
I mean, like, it doesn't matter. They're gonna get brought in again and again and again.
And they'll keep doing it until they get the brain wipies by accident.
Fucking grade A amnestic right here.
Yeah, pretty much. All right. Well, I think we can go ahead and end off on that one. Thanks everyone for joining us for this reaction for the entire series. Definitely go back and watch it all if you want to hear each episode and watch us just slowly devolve more and more every time it goes on.
It was great at the beginning.
It was, yeah, you could see our excitement at the beginning and then always towards the end of the bow. Definitely hit that like button if you enjoyed the episode, as well as hit that subscribe and bell if you want to be notified of any of our new content as it comes up. We're going to be having more here very, very soon. Definitely keep an eye out for our talk on Sweet Home, as that one has just popped up on Netflix. If you haven't watched it, go ahead and give it a glance. And if you haven't read it, I don't believe it's free anymore right now on the WEBTOONs app. I think it just ran
it's
out.
done, but you can't.
It's done, but it was like the whole
you gotta,
season was
you
free.
gotta like read it to a certain point, and then like you gotta wait.
Well, yeah, it's on a timer unless you want to pay coins. But at one point, like right when it dropped on Netflix, it was completely free to read, fully through. So, but other than that, I am of course your big host. It is Sleepy.
It's your boy Seraph here.
And this is Arc Dragoon out.
Oh, he's so tired. Take it easy, folks.